Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Remodelers on the Rise show. I am Kyle Hunt, and I have a guest today, Tiffany Welsh. Tiffany, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
You betcha. She is the owner of BMW Builders. Wait a minute. BMW, like the car place? No. BMW Builders. And tell the people what the BMW stands for.
Yes, so it's my husband's initials, Benjamin Michael Welsh.
From when the business was started back in the day?
Yes, so it was originally BMW Construction, and then we went through a rebrand probably 5 or so years ago.
Interesting. Cool. So BMW Builders, and they're in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And I told Tiffany, I said, I might have to just ask you a little bit about Cape Cod. If you're watching this in video form, you can see it looks beautiful behind you, like very Cape Codish. I've never been to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I have this very kind of, romantic, dreamy, the shoreline and the salty air. Is it as dreamy in person as it is portrayed, in whatever portrayal I've seen it or that I have in my head?
Yes, you've probably seen lots of stuff from Nantucket,
and
it very much is that way. Lots of hydrangeas and just everything about it here is really special. Lots of historical buildings and just beautiful beaches, and it's a really special place.
No, I don't hear a lot of Cape Cod accents coming from you, though.
Not from me. You'll hear a bit of a Boston accent from my husband.
Okay.
And a lot of our subs have a very heavy Boston accent.
There you have it. So I can't remember exactly how it happened, but Tiffany, you're part of the Remodelers community. If you're not part of Remodelers community, it's a great online private Facebook group. If you go to remodelers with an S community.com, you'll find it. And please request to join it if you're not a part of it. And I believe somebody may have tagged you and said, "Ooh, Tiffany's been doing a lot of referral generation through realtors. This would be a great topic for you guys to talk about," or you may have commented about it. And it is a great topic. And if I could position it a little bit, and then what we're going to dig in and spend our time on is kind of the strategy and the story of how this approach has worked for you as far as good, solid lead generation. So we're talking about realtors, but if I could stretch that out a little bit, we're really talking about strategic partners. A strategic partner is anybody who shares the same ideal client as you do. Anyone who shares the same ideal client as you do. Jokingly, it could even be outside of the building world of a BMW dealership, right? Just if we think about it, the people that are driving, what's their tagline? Something, yeah, we're not, whatever. The driving machine, those driving machines or whatever they call it, those are probably your type of ideal client, but often it's architects, it is interior designers, it's high-end landscapers, and also realtors that can be really strong referral partners, especially I found in my 15 years of coaching, or 14 years and 364 days of coaching, because the 15-year birthday bash is tomorrow. I found, especially when you're looking to get into larger projects, strategic partners can oftentimes be a really strong referral source. So that's kind of what we're talking about. And then we're going to dig in from Tiffany's side of things, specifically around the realtors. So before we dig into that, share just a little bit about kind of how long you've been in business and a little bit of your story in business. And then let's get specifically into the strategy around realtor lead generation.
Sure. So my husband has been doing this for probably 18 years now. He got started just on the job with his grandpa, picking up nails after school, and just has loved the trade ever since. So he's been in it forever. I have an accounting background. And then when the business started to grow, he really needed help with a lot of the admin stuff, the bookkeeping, all the stuff he hated to do. So I stepped out of the accounting world probably 3 years ago. And came in, and we've been running it together ever since. And so we've always been a design build, but it looks a little different for us now. Like we actually have a real design phase. I think and we won't get into that, but I think design looks a little different to all builders. And so we really ramped up our design phase and have just grown into whole home remodels. And yeah, It's
So what you're saying, if we were going down the rabbit hole, we'll just go a little bit down the rabbit hole, then we'll come back. But what you're saying there is, yeah, we were design build before, but we may have been doing it a little haphazardly. It's one thing to say design build and put together a very basic design, very basic kind of development and selections process. It's another thing to really go all in on it and really build out the design, wow people with it, maybe even 3D design, and really walk people through the selection process and making sure everything is selected and finalized up front before a hammer hits the job site. Is that what you were kind of referring to?
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
Yep. We
Yeah.
were, yeah, it was just very kind of fly by the seat of our pants.
Mhm.
And now we have a very strategic process, and yeah, it's way better now.
So what you're saying, a takeaway for your colleagues and friends who are listening to this is if you are kind of sort of dabbling with the design build, there are several additional levels that can really help the client experience and just even the overall production experience when you take that more seriously. All right, we'll come back from that little rabbit trail. It's just a short one.
Yep.
Now, talk to us about the realtor side. Where did this idea come from? Kind of and start to unpack the strategy around it.
Sure. So we started working with Lane last year, and
Another business coach.
yep,
Yep.
and his strategy was very much about strategic partnerships, and this realtor strategy was one that he presented as an option for people to use. I also have my real estate license, so for me it was, yeah, I'll talk to realtors because I know what they're struggling with. I know that in the short time that I did do real estate, Ben helped me a ton with clients who were walking through and were like, what can I do here? What can I do there? And I would say, I have no idea, but my husband is really good at that. And he would come and walk through. So when he brought up the realtor thing, I was like, absolutely, I'll do that. And it's completely transformed our business.
So that idea, when did that, here we are, we're sitting in August of 2023. This idea kind of came to fruition when?
Probably December is when I decided to start it, but then we got hit. It was hard because Christmas was coming up and realtors were away. So I kind of paused for December and really hit the ground running in January and worked. I took so many meetings, January, February, March, and then they started to come back. And we've had a steady lead flow from realtors for months now.
Interesting. So talk about the specific strategy, the meetings, the outreach. Unpack that a little bit.
Yep. So I was able to have a campaign set up through Lane set this up for us, but basically it was an email outreach that took place. I've talked to a couple guys about the strategy, and since for anyone to be able to do it, you can go on something like Zillow, put in your address and pull up all the realtors. The strategy, I know a lot of guys right off the rip say, I'm not meeting with anyone who hasn't sold a house in, a year or two. Well, those people still know a ton of people. And in my area, the people who aren't necessarily selling the most are the people who are super involved in the community. We have one woman who has been just amazing with referrals, and I don't think she sold a house in like 2.5 years, but she's on the board of directors for the boating, the kids sailboating thing down the road. She has.
See, you're building up the dreamy Cape Cod thing. Well, we've got the kids sailboating club. I mean, the picture in my head is just something.
Yeah.
But she's very networked. Carry on.
She has 2 service dogs, so she goes into the schools, she goes into the nursing homes. She literally knows everyone. And so she's been a really strong partner for us. So I would just say in all of that, don't discredit realtors who haven't sold a house, in a year and a half or so.
I remember this was early on in my business. I was working with a client who was working with another coach, and one of the phrases that he used is, "Hey, here's your job as the owner of the business. You need to expand the network of people who know what you do every day. I mean, if you do that every day, expand the network of people who know what you do, good things are going to happen." And I think there's part of this is that aspect of the more we network, the more people we get to know, and the compound effect of all of the people that they know. If we're providing value to them, if we're providing clarity of how they can help their clients through us, this is a good thing. Go back to the outreach. So whether you just get a list of some of the top realtors or a list of realtors and start reaching out to them. In your case, you guys did a little bit more of, here's a lot of the local realtors, let's get some emails out to them. And that generated some appointments. What was maybe some of the key approach there? What was the value that you were offering to them that made them go, yeah, let's do that?
Yeah. So we would just reach out and, for example, hi, so-and-so, I'm Tiffany. I own BMW Builders. We've been around for however many years. We just developed a Realtor VIP program. I'd love to meet with you and see how this might benefit your business in 2023. Are you up for a 15-minute coffee meeting? Very simple and straight to the point. And then, of course, they're like, well, what's the VIP program?
What's the VIP program? I'm a VIP.
Exactly.
It's kind of like what I did with this one. Who doesn't want to be part of the Remodelers VIP club?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, honestly, 90% wrote back and were like, let's have a meeting. So at that point, I had to get very strategic with how many meetings I can do, and really keeping them to a reasonable time frame. I mean, back to January and February when I was doing those meetings, I would literally sit in the coffee shop for like 2 hours and just meeting after meeting and say, like, I only have 15 minutes. I value your time. So let's, just chit chat and figure out what this thing's all about and see if we can
unpack that a little bit more. So like what was the basics of the Realtor VIP program?
So there's 3 things. The first one is, if you have a client who around here, we just have a ton of old homes. So a lot of the houses these realtors are showing, they all need work. So one of our things is, if you are walking through a house with a client and they just have no idea what they could do there or what's feasible, call us. We'll come do a walkthrough. We're not there to pitch our company or our services. It's just a value add to the realtor to help them. The other one is tech support. So if they're walking through and something just looks weird, there's a lot of funny structural things in the basement. So they can take a picture or send us a video and we'll get them a response within the hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, for tech support. And then the third one is 24-hour bids. So if they're walking through again and the customer's like, what does a master bath even cost? Send us some pictures, and we'll get a bid to them within 24 hours.
When you say bid, are we talking kind of a free estimate, a ballpark range?
Yes. I think Ben says on there they're like 75% accurate or something, just because we haven't actually seen the space.
And you're given a pretty big range?
And a big range, yeah.
Yeah. How much time do you put into something like that?
Not much time at all these days, because we were finally up and running on JobTread, so we can turn those around pretty quickly. I will tell you, this is where the guys that I've talked to about this strategy are always like, I'm going to be doing bids and doing text messages. I have not had one realtor ask for any of those things. They just send the client to us.
Say that whole line again.
They just send us the client.
You're not getting 10 different walkthroughs from so-and-so?
Nope.
You're not getting a photo that says, what's going on here? You're not getting, hey, I need a bid on this. And then they're also thinking about doing this. And they're also thinking about doing that.
Nope. None of that. None of that. It's just, they're happy to, and these are relationships. So we can talk more about this too, if you want, but these are relationships that I've really cultivated. It's not, I've just met with these people one time. By the time they send us business, they want to do business with us. They trust us. And they're happy to just hand their client over to us, and they trust that we're going to take good care of them.
Yeah, we'll talk about the cultivating in a little bit. But even just what you described there of that message of those 3 things, are everybody listening to this are going, the concern is that is going to eat time. That is just going to eat time. Whether you did this for architects or whether you did this for interior designers, keep thinking, as people are listening to this, keep thinking what strategic partner might be a good fit for something like this. Strategic partners can be amazing referral sources. But those 3 things have a little bit of pizzazz to them, have a little bit of wow factor to them, have a little bit of, whoa, you do that? Even the 24-hour bids, even the within 1 hour are some major promises. And yeah, you're rolling the dice a little bit of going, maybe I'm going to run into a realtor that's a total knucklehead and totally take advantage of this. At the same time, what you're saying, which is the case the majority of the time, people will respect you and people will respect your expertise and use you and have questions, but also make sure that they're not just abusing this opportunity.
Yeah.
And if that did happen, then you're going to have a conversation about it.
Right. And that's kind of how we approached it. It's like, if we have one realtor who's constantly asking for things, let's have a discussion with that realtor and say, hey, you know what? We gave you 1, 2, 3 freebies. At this point, if you want us to come out, it's going to be a fee or something.
Sure. You can adjust it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had, how many meetings would you say approximately that you had? And then how many realtors have you kind of taken this to the next level beyond the coffee?
I probably had, probably 40 or 50
Wow.
meetings.
You took this very serious, Tiffany.
A lot. I did. And it was, if I'm being honest, our business was at a place where it was like, either we were going to grow this thing or we were going to shut the doors and Ben was going to go work for someone, because in Massachusetts, it is so incredibly expensive to run a business here. Plus the taxes and everything else. It was just not worth it. So when we went in with the coaching, it was like, okay, we have to do this.
Yeah.
And so I took the meetings very seriously, because I knew that if it worked, it was going to pay off huge. And it has. So
yeah.
It was
I think the other lesson there is we dabble. All too often we dabble, partly because we're not clear on the strategy, partly because we're trying to do too many things at once. If you were to say, all right, we need you to take these 40, 50 meetings. We need you to be posting on social media every single day. We need you to be doing da-da-da-da-da. There's just not enough time to do all of that. There's something to be said for more focus on fewer things. And when you said, I had 40 or 50 of these meetings, and my response was, you took this serious. And that is a big reason why it is taking root and producing fruit.
Yep.
Right. Good. So out of that, how many realtors have you kind of cultivated this relationship with?
So the goal in this strategy was to get 20 partners.
Wow.
So I have 20 partners. And I also, for a couple of them who have referred us a lot of business, we also implemented an affiliate. I think I'm saying it right. Affiliate
commission or something. Yeah.
That we do. So that in turn has generated even more business, because realtors are, not that it's slowing down here, but there's just not enough inventory. So they're happy to make a paycheck by referring us business.
Gotcha. Well, did you kind of negotiate the percentage, or how?
Yeah, 1.5% to 2%.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Cool. So tell us more about kind of cultivating. How have you approached that? And number one is just having a very clear list. People have different strategic partners. Well, so and so used to refer me. So hey, can you show me your list of strategic partners? And most people are like, I don't know, they're in my phone. So before you kind of talk about cultivate, having a clear list, name, phone number, email address, last time you chatted with them, where it's easy to see it. Who have I not touched base with in a while? Oh, or setting up some reminders goes a long ways. But how did you go about kind of cultivating this? And again, this isn't a 3-year thing you're talking about. This is the last 8-9 months. What's been your approach there?
Yeah. So the first step is to have the coffee chat. And in that meeting, I'm very careful not to make it about myself or my business. And it's genuine. I sit down with them and I want to hear all about their business. I want to hear about their goals, what they're doing. And then it just naturally flows into tell me about what you guys do. Yep. And then I tell them about us. I tell them about the program that we're offering, and they want to be a part of it because it's a need, right? Most realtors I talk to say, I stopped referring to contractors because no one would get back to my clients, and then I look like a jerk. And I've heard that so many times. And so just reminding them that we're going to pick up the phone. We're going to be there for your client. We're in the same kind of service business where the client relationship matters, and we value that just as much as you do. And just creating that trust with them. And then, so after the first meeting, I always send an email afterwards just saying, like, it was so great to meet with you. Really looking forward to working with you in 2023 and supporting your goals. And, let's get together again soon. And so that was in January. And then in February, when Valentine's Day hit, I went to a local candy shop and got a box of chocolates made up for all 20 partners, and went and hand delivered them, caught up with them just a few minutes. and they were all so excited about that. And then
Who doesn't love chocolate?
exactly.
Especially Cape Cod chocolate, because
Yes.
I'm guaranteeing it tastes better. It's
Yeah.
probably also 10 times more expensive than Michigan chocolate, but
Well, that's the other thing I hear a lot from contractors. It's like, it's so expensive. And I'm like, at the end of the day, a coffee meeting or a lunch, even if you did lunch, and then you have your chocolate, it's like you would have paid more to Google or Facebook to run ads to, and these realtors they're giving us the leads that we want.
yeah.
And they
Well,
have,
if there's an objection around the cost of developing a networking relationship, that's small thinking.
right.
That's not wise thinking. The biggest objection is the time commitment.
Mhm.
That is a worthy conversation. But investing $100 in each of these, which is probably even less than what you did, is money very well spent. So we did the chocolates in February.
Yep. And then in March, end of February, I reached out to the broker of whoever's office they were at.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, we would love to come in. It was around that time that the building codes were changing. There was some new energy thing that happened in Mass. I said, I would love to come in and just present on some updates to the building code that might affect your clients who are looking to renovate. They loved that. So I went into a couple of offices and spoke on that. The offices that weren't doing training, there's still a ton of offices where the realtors aren't really there.
Yeah.
So a couple offices didn't want to do that, but they sent an email out to the entire office saying BMW Builders would love to meet with anyone who wants to hear about the energy code. So now I've got a ton more meetings. I just got blasted out via email to the whole brokerage office. And in our area, that was Gibson Sotheby's, which is like the office you want to be a part of. They have all the high-end clients. So business came from that. And then April, I did Easter. I did little cookies from a local lady who it was like a bunny shape and our logo was in the center. And then I also did square ones that had each brokerage name on them.
And again, hustling and bustling and delivering these.
Yep. I took my kids with me, so they loved that. And then out of that, we got invited to all of the company Easter egg hunts. So that was fun. And then by the end of April, I was pretty much like, I didn't really have to do much more. The meetings keep coming, and I take way less of them now than I did in the beginning, but it's kind of just that snowball effect at this point.
I think, again, what you've experienced is not people taking advantage of the 1, 2, 3, but people developing some know, like, and trust. That's what marketing's all about, building know, like, and trust. And cookies do that. Chocolates do that. It's one thing of like, wow, what kind of approach is that? No, it's building know, like, and trust. It's staying in front of folks. That's just good networking and good marketing. But what you're getting is not necessarily the time wasting. What you're getting are people that have actual solid leads and referrals for you.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So the quality of the projects have been very helpful. And then by embracing the design and development process more, you're giving people kind of, okay, here's kind of the ballpark range. And the next step in our process is to get into design development. And you have signed more into design developments this year than you ever have before.
Yes. So last year we did 250,000. This year we'll do, as of now, we have 2.5 million into design, which is crazy to me. But again, it was the realtor relationships. They had the clients that we wanted. And here, everything costs a lot here too. So keep in mind, that's not like thousands of projects. That's,
sure.
It's expensive to build here. So
it's expensive to build everywhere.
Yeah.
But especially, I'm sure, in Cape Cod.
Yeah.
But these are more definite in the 6-figure type projects, right? So 10 of those at $250 a piece. Yeah. Now I did ask you. I said, wait, so 2.5 million in design and development, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I was asking you, how many have you gotten across the contract line? You've done several of them, and this is all about this program. But I'm just saying, let's keep cruising people through design development. Let's not count this revenue until we get them to sign on the dotted line on that contract. Just as an encouragement, I couldn't help but get a little coaching in.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. But that's I mean, night and day difference. A strategy, a well thought out strategy, a focused strategy, good messaging around it, consistency of 3 or 4 months. None of this is magic.
Yep.
This is just smart marketing and business development work.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think a big, I've had a couple contractors who have tried to do this and they all say like, I go into the meeting and takes 2 seconds and they don't want to really chit chat with me. And they bring a flyer. And I think the flyer, is a great idea, but I think it also takes a little bit of the personal touch out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go there with the intention that you want this realtor's Rolodex, right? Like go there with the intention that if you pour into this person, it's naturally just going to come back to you.
Yes.
So really care about them and don't go into the meeting like, oh, what are they going to give me?
Yeah.
What are they going to,
I needed to be reminded of this for
Yes.
videos. Now, I don't know if you can read my chicken scratch, but it says serve, right? It says serve. I think I woke up today with just a lot on my plate and and any time that I have too much going on, whether it's, okay, the kids are, my wife has a thing at church this afternoon and the little kids are at home. So I need to go work from home. And it's just that, hey, you can't relate to that at all, can you, Tiffany? But I had to be reminded of like the person that I'm talking to in front of me. I had some one-on-one coaching calls this morning. Serve them. And similarly with the networking, if you approach it of what's in it for me, that's not going to work. If you approach it of how can I best serve this person? How can I deliver them value? How can I give true value to them? And I think the big thing is, what is your messaging? Hey, we've got a 3-part program here. It's number 1, number 2, number 3. I've seen if you go to firesidehomeco.com, click on their architect thing. You're going to see something pretty similar to what Tiffany just described. Of they've got their 7-point architect promise. We've got a message. We've got value we deliver to our strategic partner, and that jumps out of it. But yes, think through, get a little creative, get outside your comfort zone a little bit, and how can you serve these folks? What you said that they often tell you is, we're sick of referring contractors because we've got a reputation and they don't help our reputation because they're not doing what they say they're going to do. Get in front of that. Have you ever experienced this where you refer a remodeler and they kind of let you down? They're not following through. Yeah. That's something that we take really seriously. That's different messaging. And then the other big thing is it's not a one hit, we're done. It's that consistent kind of drip of getting in front of them. Very cool. Anything else that you wanted to mention related to this that you haven't yet?
I'll just mention how I tracked this. So I know that you said spreadsheets, which is definitely a good way to do it. I personally use Trello, the free version, and I just plugged everyone into who I wanted to set meetings with, and then who I set meetings with, and then follow up. And Trello is really easy to
just drag
people along.
It's very rewarding, isn't it? It's just like,
yes. Okay, on to the next step.
Yep.
So I used Trello for that, and that was helpful. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add.
But that's a good thing to emphasize of, track it, set the follow-ups, know what you're doing. Again, have the strategy.
Yeah, you definitely have to track it.
Very cool. Tiffany, that was a fresh idea. And again, if I were to summarize kind of what I heard, is strategic partners are a wonderful potential referral source. Maybe you heard something and you're inspired to look into the realtor side. Maybe you're thinking architects or landscapers or interior designers. Maybe you're thinking of, crap, when I look at where my leads and some of my signed projects have come in the last 12 to 24 months, there's several that are coming from strategic partners. I'm not doing anything to thank them. I'm not proactively developing and nurturing that relationship. Maybe that's what you're going to have as takeaways. Maybe as a takeaway, you're going to make a list of 5 strategic partners that you're going to set up and reach out to see if you can get in front of them, buy them a cup of coffee, and get to know them. I'm trying to get to know more business owners. Likewise, you might be looking to network a little bit. Would love to treat you to a cup of coffee or a Zoom call, whatever the case might be. So I guess that's my takeaway is strategic partners are often an untapped, underutilized remodeling business building tool. And hopefully this inspired some folks. If you were to say, hey, you ladies and gents listening to this, you can yell at them if you want. You can do whatever you want, or you can be sweet, whatever you want to do. If you heard nothing else from what I shared, here, I'm going to emphasize this again, what would you emphasize?
You have to just get out there and talk to people. And I swear, so many people are hung up. I see it all the time in groups. It's like, who's running Facebook ads? Who's running Google ads? Like, this is a free, almost free, your cost of coffee
Yep.
way to just get out there and meet people and be part of the community. Just, we weren't really a part of the community a couple last year or the years before. And now this year, we're part of so many things. And it's actually given kind of a purpose and a passion behind our business that we haven't had before. Like, it's just fun. It's great to get out and meet people. And so I would say, get out of your comfort zone, stop with all the negative, this isn't going to work for me or this or that, and just get out there and do it.
Bam. I mean, you didn't smack him across the face, but you kind of just gave him a little tap of like, hey, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one thing that I would finally emphasize is, you went all in. Yeah. That's all. I mean, you said, all right, I'm taking this idea and I am driving with it. This strategy can also work if you take a sticky note and you write, for the video watchers, 1, 2, 3, 4. You write 1, 2, 3, 4 on a sticky note. And if every month you reached out to 4 strategic partners, you put that sticky note on your wall, and each time you reached out to a strategic partner, you crossed it out. You do that every month this year. That's 48. Yeah, 48. Good math. I majored in finance, by the way. It's 48. Meetings or outreaches or texts or phone calls or coffees that you're going to have, or just do one BLB, breakfast, lunch, or beer. Hey, I'm looking to do one BLB this month. I wonder if you be interested in me treating you to a breakfast, lunch, or beer. It's just a little acronym to get people to think about, networking. So this can come in different flavors. You are showing the quintessential, very organized, strategic approach, and hopefully it inspired some folks. Thank you so much. If they wanted to find your website, or get in touch with you at all, how would they find your website?
bmwbuilders.net, and then Instagram and Facebook, BMW Builders.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. That was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You did great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.